is the first module of the Starting a Business course. Today, I am going to be taking you through what you need to be aware of when you are about to start a business. This is like a foundation to starting up a business, and it's the very first module of our Starting a Business class. My name is Sheila Elliott, and I am your course tutor today. I'm using a presentation slide, so from time to time you will see me turn my head, and don't get distracted. Just focus on what I have to share with you today. So, who am I and why am I teaching you this first module? I am a business consultant, a trainer and a coach who have helped many entrepreneurs to start off their own business, and indeed I am in business myself. I started running my business in 2006, registered in the UK in 2005, and since then I haven't turned back. There have been lots of challenges on the path, and I have to say that through sheer tenacity I've been able to push on and press on with the journey that started then. But today it's not about me, it's about me sharing the knowledge with you and to give you a signpost which will enable you to do what I have done and what many out there have done. And of course, learning does not stop, because even I am still learning from mentors. And so what you learn today is not the beginning or the end, it's the journey. You're going to take this information and use it as best as you can. And of course, in time, you'll find new information will be added in our portal, which will enable you to learn even more. So, without any further ado, what else can I tell you about myself? Some of you may know me and others may not know me. I am also the author of a book called My Business is My Business, which you get a copy of free of charge when you sign up to this particular course. So I'm asking you not to buy the book out there, because as soon as you sign up for this course, you get a copy of the book free of charge. If you're in the UK, you get it free of charge posted to you. If you're outside the UK, you only need to pay the postage fee. That's all we ask. Wherever you are, as long as a post can get there, we will post it to you when you send the postage fee. That's all. So, what do you need to know about starting up a business? The very first thing you need to know is that you need to be business startup ready. What do I mean by that? Have you ever done anything in life that you know nothing about, and you went off and do it and you expect to be successful? Well, if you did, let me tell you, what that means is that you already have some competency in that area and you were not aware of the competency, and that is why you succeeded. But many of us who don't know anything about the subject will not dare to go off and do a thing without first learning about what skills do we need to be able to do it successfully. And with that in mind, it simply means that you and I must be ready for whatever it is. We must prepare for whatever it is we're trying to accomplish before we can be expected to be successful. The same holds true in business startup. You've got to become business startup ready. And that simply means you have to develop a mindset for business, and you have to develop the skill set for business. What does mindset for business entail? And what does skills for business actually means? Mindset for business means that you must be able to galvanize or cultivate the attitude that a typical successful entrepreneur, that is balanced in their approach, by the way, has. And you must be able to have a range of skills, technical know-how to manage your business successfully. So when it comes to mindset, we're talking about how you process information, your attitude, your beliefs, and how you do things generally. Unless you have that kind of mindset of discipline, mindset that is focused and not easily distracted, you are going to find that you will be faced with a lot of challenges. Similarly, when you're running a business, you must have a range of skill set. And I want to ask you right away before you read the ebooks, which is in this e-portal with this course, what are the business skills that you think you're going to need for you to be able to be successful in your business? Think about it. Have you ever thought about what skill sets you're going to need? Pause the video, and when you pause the video, take a notepad and just kind of write very quickly the number of skills you think you're going to need. Because unless you do an audit skills test, you are not going to know whether you're ready or not. So in the ebook that comes with this model, you're going to find a range of tests in the ebook which ask a number of questions of you for you to do what we call a skills audit test, and then compare it against the inventory of skills required to be able to run a successful business. So you will know what gaps you currently have, and then put in place a personal development plan which will enable you to take the necessary action steps to equip yourself with the skills required for business effectiveness, for business startup. Okay? So pause the video. Okay, I'm assuming you did do what I asked you to do, because if you didn't do it, well, I'm not going to say much, because quite frankly, you're not going to do yourself any service there. So I hope you did take the time to pause the video and answer the question I asked you. So there are a lot of skills that you're going to need. You're going to need accounting skills, you're going to need marketing and selling skills, you're going to need oh dear, the list goes on, interpersonal skills, you're going to need management skills, you're going to need buying skills, you're going to need networking skills, and a whole raft of others which are listed in the ebook. Mindset wise, you're going to have to think like someone who is out there looking for problems and looking for solutions to solve those problems. Because the mindset of an entrepreneur is not a mindset of complaining, it's a mindset of seeking solutions to problems. So whereas the masses goes out there complaining about everything and anything, a typical entrepreneur, of course, listens. Listening skills is one of their skills. And then think about solutions to a problem. And so therefore, you are going to be needing problem solving skills, analytical skills, critical analysis skills, listening skills, communication skills, research skills, product management skills, product development skills, patience, tolerance, and the lots. Until you develop this type of mindset, the chances of starting up a business successfully is limited. Why? I want to take this opportunity to quickly tell you that you're going to be met with challenges. And I mean, you are going to be met with challenges. And when you meet challenges, there are two ways to deal with it. You can either just say, I don't need this, and I'm off. I'm going to look for another job. Or you can say, well, I'm aware that this was going to happen, and I'm going to look for a way to overcome the challenge. So what does that mean? You're going to have to need tenacity. You're going to need persevering spirit within you. You're going to need a dogged, stubborn attitude that says, I'm taking this risk and I'm going for it because there is a solution to every problem. And not many people out there are like that. And that's what set an entrepreneur aside from the others who are not. And you need to develop this skill set. And in the ebook, there is a lot more I've shared with you. Please go ahead and read the ebook. Next up, for you to start up a business, you need to have a business idea that is a viable business idea. Everyone will come up with a business idea, but not every business idea is viable. Is your business idea going to be innovative enough to be able to generate enough interest for people to fund it, or for people to want to buy the products and services? You've got to ensure you understand how to develop your business ideas and turn it into a viable business proposition. You've got to get your business ideas turned into viable business proposition. Until you are able to do so, until you're able to learn the skills and techniques to combine different ideas and make it into a very innovative products and services, so people are banging the door and asking for you to sell them that product and services, you haven't got a business. Ideas make a business, but ideas by themselves don't make a business, because we're going to talk about another ingredient very quickly. But you need a good idea. And so in the second segment of this training course, you're going to find that it's all about how to turn your business idea into a viable business, products and services. We're going to learn new techniques to do so effectively. And these are all proven techniques. These are all tried techniques. These are techniques that people have used time and time, that we put together in this model for you to be able to learn and add your own knowledge, because no one has the monopoly to knowledge. Knowledge comes to us anytime. The universe pours down new ones. Just when we think we've had one that is good, we have a better one poured down on us. So you are going to find that there is going to be new ideas even today that you can take and add on to your existing idea and better that which you already know. So please make sure when you get to the second segment of this program, you make use of the ebook, which covers all the different techniques that you can use to be able to develop your business idea into a viable business proposition. One word of caution I want to leave with you is this: please do not become very emotional about your business idea. Remember, business is about solving problems of others and getting paid for it. Remember this: business is about solving problems for others and getting paid for it. And what that means, you need to develop a big problem-solving skills, problem-solving mentality, problem-solving expertise. And if you can find a big market that you can solve the problems, then you have a big market to sell to. If you find a small market to solve your problem, then you have a small market to sell to, and you will probably not survive very long. So you need a big market, and then you need to know what their problem is, and you need to solve their problem in a way that they can be willing to have with their money to pay for your solution. And so the second segment of the course is all about how you can take your business ideas into the market, how you could take your problem-solving, solution, artistic ideas and then use it to develop a business idea that then gets sold to the market as products and services. That's what the second module of this course is all about. Please make sure you make use of that. So let's go to the third segment of my presentation today. This is about, who do you want to sell to? Now you have a business idea and it's now great, but you must have a market. Remember, I said to you there are two ingredients. These two ingredients are the most important: markets, business ideas. So there has to be a problem of these markets have, and you have a product to sell to them, which gives them the solution. And they must be able to pay for it, by the way. There's a lot more about marketing in another module of the course. But for now, you need to be aware that marketing is an element of the equation you cannot ignore. So first, you need to know whose problem you're trying to solve and what problem you're solving and how you're going to solve the problem with your products and services that provides the solution to that market. Got it? Because when you get it right, you can now move to the next stage of the equation. And let's just go to the next slide. So now you have a business idea, you know the markets whose problem you're going to solve. Hey, you now want to think about money. How am I going to own my business idea? How am I going to get this business off the ground? Well, like it or not, there are different ways you can fund your business ideas. And for those reasons, we have another segment as part of the course which covers all you need to know about finances, about raising finances, about making sure that your business is finance ready. And we have a database of websites that you can go to and begin the process of raising finance after you have prepared for that, of course. I don't want to go off doing it without getting prepared, because the worst thing you can do is to go off asking for finance when you're not prepared and then get rejected and then not being able to go back to the same organization. So you want to ensure you go through the model and you cover it well and get prepared for finance before you make any attempt to go out there to raise finance. So what are the different types of finance your organization can get involved in once you start? Your business can raise equity finance, which means it's getting private investors to buy shares in your business, stocks and shares, which your organization can issue to the shareholder. It means that the shareholders have controlling power, not exactly controlling power, but they have a stake in the business. They own the business. They partly own the business. So depending on how much shares you sell them will dictate how much controlling power they have in that business. So they are owners of the business, but they may not necessarily control, but they own. So what that means simply is that if they have a total of 51% shares, that it means that you do not have controlling power, because 51% of the shares is owned by someone else. And what that means basically, if all these individuals who own 51% were to come together and decide to get you out, to buy you out, they can do so. Which is why when you start a business, if you are going to get shares issued, stocks and shares issued, you want to make sure that you always, at least at the beginning, own 51% of the shares and never sell more than 51% of the shares. So that way you are always going to be the controlling shareholder. In other words, you can control the decisions and the policies because you have the majority of the shares of that organization. They have ownership, but they don't have controlling powers. That's what it means. And again, you will read about this in my book, My Business is My Business. And you can also find out more about this when you go through some of the materials in finance. Then there is what is known as debt finance. Debt finance is where you go to a bank typically and ask them for a loan. But it's not just the banks that you go to for loans. You could get loans from private organizations, and even government-backed organizations. So you can ask for loans, and what loans means is that you have to pay the money back. And I should have made a distinction between loans and equity. Equity is an investment for which you do not have to pay the money back. So someone invests money in your business, or they are doing so in anticipation that they will get some kind of a returns in the form of dividends subsequently from the business, or they'll be able to sell their shares at a higher price because there's an expectation the business will grow and realize more income, which will be reinvested, and therefore the value of the shares will grow as well. So when it comes down to loans, you've got to pay it back. And loans always have an element of interest charge, whereas equity hasn't. There isn't any rules that says that you must pay shareholders dividends every year. But if the loan transaction you embark on says you have to pay interest on a monthly basis, then you have to. And this is irrespective of whether your organization or your business makes profits or not. And this is where the dichotomy comes into play, because if you are starting off, the last thing you need is to get your business debt height and paralyze the business right from the beginning, because you have to pay interest from day one and the business hasn't even taken off yet. So very often, first of all, you shouldn't really be going for high debt capitalization, because if you do so, you're putting the business at risk. You should be looking at grant funding and some of your own savings or personal loans from friends and families who will not come chasing you back for the money in 2 months' time. So you've got to be very careful of that as well. And I will say, and this is just my personal preference, it's up to you because everybody's situation is different. I try not to mix friends, family, and business together. My friends are my friends. Money and friends don't go together very often unless they are matured friends and they understand about business. Whereas families, I want to be able to go to the parties and play with them and talk to them and go to the Christmas festivals with them without being hassled about when they're going to get their money from me. So I don't want finances from any relatives in relation to any business matter. So I tend to keep things separately, and that's my personal preference. For some culture, it works well because the culture is already built up like that. There is a culture of getting funds from families for financing business, and there's support from families to do so. And if it works well, go for it. But it doesn't work well for everyone in every circumstance. So you have to choose what works well for you. Now, when it comes to grant finance is where you go to grant funding organizations, and some of them will be private and some of them will be government-sponsored organization or government organizations. So there are a lot of them out there. They don't come finding people, entrepreneurs, banging at the door and say, we have money, because if they do so, lots of people will take the money off them and not necessarily use it for business. So you have to go and find them. In the e-portal for this course, you are going to find some links on the website which kind of directs you to some of the portals we have found have grants funding at this point in time, and we will continuously update information in the portal. So by all means, go off and use that. So grants, equity, debt, these are different financing modes. But that's not all. There are other options like leasing equipment or even leasing premises. So the element of financial strategy, how you finance your business, is one that is a huge subject, and it could be a blend of different financial types that you use in the end. When it comes down to it, it very much depends on the type of business you are starting up. That's what dictates what type of financing strategy will be appropriate for your organization. There are some business startups that are technology based, for which perhaps equity finance will be the most suitable for them than debt financing. Mining, for example, you could be mining for years before you find one single diamond or any of these precious metal stones that is being mined. You wouldn't necessarily want to go off with debt financing right from the beginning with that one. Perhaps grants, perhaps equity, something along those lines will be more suited than to go off with debt financing when you don't even know when you're going to be able to find one single stone. So you therefore have to make sure you're clear about your expectation of income, when that's likely to materialize, and match up that particular option with the type of financing that will be suitable for your business type. Never, never, never go with an option without first weighing the pros and cons for that option. That would be my little piece of advice for you. But when it comes to raising the finance, it's a whole ball game, and we have a separate model that you can study how to raise finance, how to access finance for your business successfully, how to prepare yourself, how to present your financial proposal to lenders or to private investors or to grant funding organizations. So please make sure you go through that segment effectively. Now you want to turn your business into reality. And in this slide, you're going to find information about how to do so. You need a business plan. Did you hear what I said? You need a business plan. You may have heard this particular saying: if you do not have a plan to succeed, you are planning to fail. Okay? So without a business plan, you are planning to fail. And I can hear some skeptics, because I've heard this mentioned in some sessions that I have done before. Well, we know about this gentleman who started a business and he's been a bit successful. He never had any business plan. What do you say about that? Well, it may have just been one of the few in this world that bypassed the rules of business planning requirements. And let me put it to you, it may not have had a business plan, but it probably has all the information it needed that should have been written on a business plan already mentally in his mind. And you just have an incredible capacity to carry it with you and to implement it from his mind. How many people have the capacity to hold a picture for more than 1 minute, not to mention 24 hours? Or even 10 minutes. Very few. Well, those who are the few, maybe that person was just one of them. So you cannot take the exception and make it the rule. For the majority of us, we need to write things down on paper so that we don't forget what we said we're going to do. We need to write things down on paper so that we can analyze whether our thought process is in fact correct. We need to write things on paper and share it with others who can critically review it and then identify that we were incapable of seeing. And that is why business plans are put together specifically so that you will be able to know exactly what steps you need to take to turn your business dream into reality. What resources are you going to need to turn your business ideas into reality? What type of people do you need to team up with to turn your business ideas into reality? How are you going to ensure that you have all the resources and you're going to manage those resources efficiently? That's what the business plan is all about. Are you going to manage risk? What risk are you going to be exposed to, and what systems would you put in place to manage those risks. That's what a business plan is all about. So the business plan is what makes it happen. But it only makes it happen when you work it. So in other words, writing a business plan is just a start. It is not the end. And I want you to remember this. It is just a start. It's not an end. So I don't want you thinking that, yes, I've written a business plan and that's it. No. You don't go to your car and say, I have a sat nav on. I am going to now direct the sat nav where I want to go. And then sit in the car doing nothing and expect to get there. The business plan is like that. It's a dynamic tool. You've got to work it. You need to know where you are and where you want to be, but you've got to drive a car to get there. You're going to meet challenges in the path, but you've got to walk through those challenges or walk around those challenges or jump over those challenges. And that's how it's going to be. So putting together a business plan enables you to take the first step to begin to turn your business ideas into reality and bring income. Now, without any more saying in this, we live in an information age. I cannot do you any service to say that you can set up a business these days and not have a website. You need a website, and the website has to be professionally done. Your website has to be keyword rich in terms of its domain names and the content. And you don't need to spend thousands of pounds on your website. For goodness sake, I have seen some people make this mistake of spending thousands of pounds in their website. Your website has to be professionally done, and your website must be with a domain that is keyword rich, something that's kind of linked to what people will type on a search engine like Google or Yahoo or Bing, looking for the products. You've got to make sure that the pages of the website are all optimized. So don't just build a pretty website and think that's what's going to work. Work has to be done onto the website to make it work. A lot of website providers out there just know how to develop a pretty website, but do not know how to use the website for marketing. And so what you're going to get from our course is you're going to know about what you need to do to make your website searchable on the web, findable on the web. That's what you're going to find out from this course. And we have a segment of the course that talks about marketing, which covers all of these different tools that you need for online marketing, as well as off-site marketing. But one thing you can be assured of, when you go out networking and tell people about your business, the very first thing they're going to ask is, can I have your business card? And what do you think they're going to do? Straight onto your website to find out more about you. Even though they have told them they want to see your website to see whether you are saying the truth, speaking the truth, or whether they can match up what you told them with what is on the website. They never say, can I know what your office address is, please, because I want to visit you next week. Very rarely does that happen. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. These days, it's website first, and then maybe physical visits later. So take note. Do not start a business thinking that I will do the websites when I have money. Well, it might be a long time for you to get on with it. You have to be aware that we live in an information age where people are spending a lot more time on the net than they used to in the past. And it's set to grow and not to decline. Please do yourself a favor and make sure you have a website in the plan that you have to turn your business into reality. Okay, So this is the end of my presentation insofar as the foundation of the course is concerned. I've given you an overview of what it takes to start up a business. I've also given you pointers of where on the portal you will find more details of the specific areas that I have covered. Business management skills, of course, is something we have as a separate package completely. But nonetheless, we expect that you will learn as much of the business skills in the package that we have with this course. And of course, if you want to learn more about management techniques, then of course you could contact us as part of the package, and we will of course let you know what we can do about that. So for now, without any further ado, I want to say thank you for watching this particular presentation, and I do hope you find it interesting, and I do hope it can help you to navigate through the journey of using the course materials that we have provided you with in all of the different modules covered in this course. So thank you very much, and I shall now end this session.